Welcome back to the garage. So today we're going to be starting a new series, organizing the garage, because what I really want is to put a milling machine in here, and there is no room. So I'm going to try and make that happen. So we're going to start over here. I want to organize this so that a forge stand fits under the grinder, and then I can no longer do the sort of questionable on sawhorses, mildly flammable forge stand that I currently assemble. So I just got back from Metal Supermarket. I have a ton of steel and an abnormally nice day. So it's a perfect day for a project. So I've got the base cut out. This plate steel is quite expensive, so I cut these sections out to save for later. For what it's going to be doing, I don't think the loss of strength will really matter, so I'd rather have these for another project. So now as you can see, I've marked the center so that when I weld the base on to the pole, it won't be crooked, and I won't be looking at it for the next like 8 years going, damn it, I should have measured that. So it'll actually be in the middle, which will be nice. I have this nesting tube here. See it slides in and out of itself. So what I'm going to be doing is I want this to be able to fit under the under the grinding stand, but that would be too low for a good working height. So I'm going to set it up in such a way that it can actually be collapsed. So I'm going to weld the base onto this, weld the base onto the top plate, or weld the bar onto the top plate, and then I'm going to make a carve like a slot in here so that there can be some sort of catch mechanism, and that'll enable the forge to be lifted and lowered for storage and for use. So it looks like the heat bowed it out here. So I'm gonna go ahead and layer a piece of steel on here to straighten this back out. Cool. So next up, I have to figure out the locking system for when I extend this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna weld a little lug on here, and then I'm going to drill a hole in it. Actually, I should probably drill the hole first. And then I'm going to make a ring, like a looped piece of probably 6mm bar, which will sit in this lug, and then I can just flip it up, and it'll interfere with a latch that I'll have on the other bar, on the male bar, so that I can extend it, pop it in, drop it, and it'll stay. So let's do that.